All right, hello. My name is Alex. I'm here today with my partners, Rohan and Shen, and today we'll be presenting our project for the Hult Prize competition. Our idea is called Constellation, and we propose a peer-to-peer energy sharing platform that leverages blockchain technology. We were motivated to come up with this idea because of two major problems. The first is that the world needs renewable energy. All scientists believe that climate change is a huge issue that's affecting all of humanity, and it's without doubt an extremely important issue. And we need to transition from dirty fossil fuels to clean, sustainable, renewable resources. The second issue is energy disparity. Over 1 billion people in the world still do not have access to electricity. This is especially true in rural areas, which make up about 80% of all people that do not have access to electricity. Both of these issues are propagated by what we call the old grid. The old grid is the current format of energy transmission in many nations. Much of the technology implemented in current energy transmission was developed many years ago, before the digital age, and before modern computers. Furthermore, these old grids were designed when most of the power generated came from large power plants that burned coal or fossil fuels. As a result, these grids are extremely centralized, and they do not integrate renewable energy very effectively. Furthermore, these large grids are hugely controlled by large corporations that can set the price at which consumers must consume their electricity. We see issues with the old grid in two case studies that we have. The first is a developing nation, India. India tried emulating the US in implementing a large centralized grid. However, they still have 300 million people without electricity in their nation. Furthermore, while India was developing their large centralized grid, they didn't build it very effectively. And they're currently losing about 25% of their power just in transmission. It's wasted energy. In the US, a developed nation, where we built our grid a century ago, we see that this aging grid is becoming more vulnerable and more fragile. In the past 20 years, wide-scale blackouts have increased by over 100%. So clearly the old grid is not the best. And in fact, a lot of other companies have noticed this as well. Renewable resources and energy disparity are two extremely hot topics, and people are all working together to find ways to integrate renewable energy, develop better instruments that lever modern computers, and also can help create less centralized grids that are more dynamic and feed more into renewable energy. This transformation of the electric grid is analogous to the transformation that happened to landlines. When we had landlines, we all had to be connected to a huge network in order to have access to voice communication. However, with the onset of cell phones, we no longer need to be connected to a centralized network. With the onset of new technology, with renewables, with better instrumentation and a decentralized grid, you will no longer have to have access to a centralized electric grid in order to have access to power. We want to propel these new developments in a new electric grid, and we also want to capitalize on these new developments. My partner Rohan will now introduce our idea.
We want to capitalize on these decentralized grids, and we propose a blockchain-based energy framework, a blockchain-based energy distribution system. So what exactly is blockchain? Blockchain is a public ledger system. Previously, companies used private ledgers to record their transactions. What blockchain provides is a public system where people can verify and guarantee transactions in a decentralized fashion. What we want to do is use this technology in the energy market and power generation system. How does this work? Suppose that you own a solar panel and you generate an extra kilowatt hour of energy and you want to sell it at price X. So what you do is connect your photovoltaic data to the blockchain and you communicate this information within the blockchain system. So your neighbor, who isn't as smart as you, doesn't have a solar panel, but he wants to buy energy at the same price X for 1 kilowatt hour. He communicates that information also to the blockchain. What the blockchain does is execute a contract, a smart contract. And that smart contract transfers funds from your neighbor to you, and the power that you generate goes to your neighbor. So what this provides for is transparency. Now, you know exactly who you're paying and that your energy is coming straight from renewables coming next door. What this leads to is peer-to-peer energy sharing in the end. Right now, in the current system, utility companies control a large majority of power in an area. What we want to do is the ability for homes and renewable companies to provide power and as well as consume it themselves. Like in this diagram, the solar panel is generating energy and providing it to its neighbor, similar to the example we saw in the previous slide. What we want to see is in small decentralized areas, small little areas, for homes and renewable companies to be able to provide their own power, consume it, and be able to transfer money and profit off of it. Next slide. So in the long term, our vision is microgrids. Look at this network. It has so many different clusters. Imagine this was India with a large village system. When maybe in each of these villages, they have renewable energy. But now through the blockchain technology, what they can do is be able to transfer funds to each other, transfer energy to each other, and power themselves. As Alex said, India has a huge problem with a centralized grid. They can't be able to communicate energy throughout the entire grid. What this allows for is decentralized areas to provide their own power to each other. And now people have more access to energy and as I've said before, higher transparency about where their energy is coming from. Now my partner Shen will talk about the value proposition of this idea.
So we believe that Constellation provides two main value propositions. Firstly, we provide an efficient and highly accessible energy distribution model that cuts out conventional energy providers such as NYSEG, allowing us to create a more affordable microgrid system. So by bypassing these intermediaries, our microgrid system that has energy generation and storage capabilities will allow us to operate independently, even through a big power failure. Secondly, what makes us unique is that we're using blockchain technology to create an open source ledger to automate transactions. This allows us to create more secure and efficient transactions to track energy consumption as well as facilitate energy transfer. So in terms of market opportunity, the renewable energy market is huge and is rapidly growing. According to the International Renewable Energy Agency, global power capacity has increased by 120% from 2000 to 2015. And as you can see from the graph on the right, global renewable energy consumption has increased exponentially over the last 10 years. And globally, as many as 300 million people benefit off-grid electricity. And so this market is a huge opportunity for us to take advantage of. Overall, there's clear deployment of renewables with a strong business case for it, as well as multiple socio-economic benefits. And so renewable energy is projected to remain as the fastest growing source of electricity in the future. Apart from that, there's a huge opportunity in our desire to target emerging markets. So with the transformation of global energy markets centered on renewables driven by emerging markets such as non-OECD countries like China, Asia alone is the fastest growing region in this space, with Asia accounting for 58% of all new capacity additions in 2016, allowing them to experience a 13% increase in renewable capacity. And so emerging markets is another space for us to capitalize on. In terms of competition, we're not the first to acknowledge that clean energy integration is a huge problem facing society. All these companies have tried to tackle peer-to-peer energy transfer through some sort of virtual trading platform. But we think we have an advantage because Sonnen and Piccolo are trading platforms that don't utilize blockchain technology. And on the other hand, Brooklyn Microgrid does use blockchain technology. However, they only operate in Brooklyn and are dependent on the conventional grid in Brooklyn. And they only concentrate on solar energy distribution. We think that our proposition of microgrids in the emerging market will allow us to target all different types of renewable energy, such as hydro energy and wind energy, and reduce our reliance on the conventional grid.
Great. So we believe that we're the best team to make this project a reality. So my name is Alex. I'm currently an electrical and computer engineering student here at Cornell. I'm minoring in business, and I'm also an undergraduate researcher in the Energy and the Environment lab here.
Hey, my name is Rohan. I'm also an electrical and computer engineering major. I also have a minor in computer science. I'm an undergraduate researcher in power systems and energy markets here at Cornell.
So my name is Shen Lee. I'm a student at the School of Hotel Administration, pursuing a minor in information science. I have a lot of business development experience working as a manager for Elevate, a startup, as well as being an analyst for Cornell Venture Capital.
Great. So thank you for listening to our presentation about Constellation.